Why did my coworker suddenly quit after I complimented her presentation? So Juliana from accounting gave this amazing presentation on budget optimization last Tuesday. She'd clearly put tons of work into it. Detailed charts, creative solutions, even color-coded everything. Afterward, I walked up and said, "That was incredible. You should definitely present at the quarterly meeting." She smiled, thanked me, and seemed genuinely happy. 2 hours later, she submitted her resignation to HR. I was completely blindsided. Did I say something wrong? I asked our mutual friend Lisa what happened. Lisa pulled me aside and said Juliana told her that someone was pushing her too hard and making her uncomfortable with unrealistic expectations. She said Juliana felt like people were setting her up to fail on purpose. I felt terrible. Was my compliment actually pressure? Was I being tone deaf? The next day, I decided to apologize. I found Juliana packing her desk. She was leaving that Friday. I walked over and said, "Juliana, I'm really sorry if my comment about the quarterly meeting made you feel pressured. That wasn't my intention at all." She stopped packing and looked at me completely confused. "What comment?" she asked. I reminded her about the presentation compliment. Her face went pale. You were serious?" she whispered. That's when everything came pouring out. Juliana thought I was being sarcastic. She'd been convinced for months that everyone, including me, thought she was completely incompetent at her job. She started listing examples that had been eating at her alive. "Remember 3 weeks ago when you said nice job after I fixed that spreadsheet error? I thought you were mocking me because it took me 3 tries and I held up the whole meeting. When you asked if I wanted to join the monthly planning committee, I thought it was because you wanted to watch me fail in front of everyone, like some sick entertainment. Last month when I brought donuts and you said Juliana always knows how to brighten everyone's day, I was convinced you were being fake nice because you felt sorry for me, like I was the office charity case. When Tom from marketing said my quarterly report was thorough, I thought he meant it was boring and too long. I stayed up all night rewriting the next one. Remember when you invited me to that happy hour 2 months ago? I didn't go because I thought it was a pity invitation, like you drew the short straw. Even when people laugh at my jokes in meetings, I assume they're laughing at me, not with me. Last week when the printer broke and you said, "Don't worry about it, these things happen," I thought you were being passive-aggressive because I was the last one to use it. When our boss mentioned my attention to detail in the team meeting, I spent the whole night wondering what mistake I'd made that made her feel like she had to reassure everyone I wasn't completely hopeless. Every single positive interaction we'd had, she'd interpreted as sarcasm, pity, or some elaborate joke at her expense. She told me she'd been having panic attacks before work, convinced that everyone was just waiting for her to mess up so they could laugh about it behind her back. She'd started eating lunch alone in her car because she was sure people were talking about her in the break room. The presentation was supposed to be her last-ditch effort to prove she belonged here, that she wasn't completely useless. When I complimented it and suggested the quarterly meeting, she thought I was delivering the final blow, sarcastically suggesting she embarrass herself in front of the entire company leadership. "I couldn't handle the humiliation," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I figured I'd quit before you all got the satisfaction of watching me crash and burn in front of the executives." I was stunned. This woman who I genuinely respected, who consistently did amazing work, had been torturing herself for months thinking we all secretly hated her. I asked her to sit down, and I called Lisa over. We spent the next hour going through every single interaction Juliana could remember, explaining that every compliment, every invitation, every nice job had been 100% genuine. Lisa even pulled up old Slack messages where people had specifically praised Juliana's work when she wasn't around. Messages calling her detail-oriented, reliable, creative, and thorough. By the end of our conversation, Juliana was crying, but this time from relief, not shame. She withdrew her resignation the next day.